So if you've wondered, how can I make just an individual word stand out with a different color, or maybe be bold or have a different kind of background, one of the answers to that is we can create what's called a class. So we've now looked at a couple of different types of selectors. We started out with the element selector, also called the tag selector, which is just meaning HTML. And when I'm talking about the selectors, I'm talking about CSS and what it's targeting. So when we first started with CSS, we're targeting HTML, and such as the H1 tag, our body tag, or an image or an HR. Then we have gotten into working with divs with IDs, and we've learned to use CSS to target our ID, and that has a slightly different syntax, just that it starts with the hashtag. Then the next step was learning how to target the HTML within a specific div with that ID, and that's a compound selector. So now the last selector type that we're going to learn is a class selector. And a class selector has a slightly different syntax, just that it starts with a period. The class selector is something that you can write on your own, and then you're going to apply it to something. So let's say, and I'm just going to get rid of these, and I'm going to get rid of them. And now when we click over onto my page, you can see that those are gone, and I'll start that over. Let's say I want to have a certain word that looks like it has a highlight on the background. So I'm going to write a class for that. It starts with a period, and you can call it whatever you want, but it's generally a good idea to make it something that is descriptive. So highlight, and for this I'm going to give it a background color of yellow. And so my class just sits here until I apply it to something. And then I'm going to create another class that I'll call bold red. And so for this one, I'm going to give it a font weight of 800. So normal font weight is 400. So if I give it more, such as 800, that's going to make it bold. And I'll give it a color of red. Close that out. So again, this is just going to sit here until I use it. So if I want to use it, I'll come down here. Oh, this already had it attached to it, so that's kind of cheating. This one I'd already done, and I gave it the same name. So let's do another one from scratch. So I'll highlight this text. I'll come down to my properties inspector, and that where it says class, all of the classes that I've written will be listed here. So I can choose highlight, and now this has the attributes of my highlight class. And if we look over here in the code, we can see that the span tag, which is something that was covered in your book, has now been wrapped around this word, and it is given in the span tag the class of highlight. So this is something you've probably already come across in your book, is the use of class. And now let's just apply the other class that I wrote to something else. I'll apply it to this word 60. I highlight it, and I go down to where it says class. And I'm going to choose the one that says bold red, which looks like I didn't actually make it red. I just made it bold. Let's go up and just check that. Oh, I put in border color. Haha, sorry. That's not what I want. I just want it to be color. I don't know why this isn't working every time I choose it. Okay, this time it is working. Color red. And so now when I scroll down, this now has the color red. So classes can be a great way to be able to make just little elements a different color, mostly bold, or perhaps red, or maybe you want to work with a highlight. And in the next video, I'll talk about how you can use a class to apply a class to an individual image so you can get that image to float.